Hi, my name is Paula and I live in Massachusetts. I have erythromelalgia. This video is being made specifically for those that suffer from erythromelalgia to maybe give you another treatment option. You may have heard about Bob's protocol going around the internet and wondering what it is. It's a warm to hot water soak. That's it. So on this video, you're going to be hearing from myself, you're going to be hearing from Bob, who started the protocol, and from a few other people who suffer with erythromelalgia. You will hear how bad our erythromelalgia was, how we do the protocol, and what our improvements are. As with any medication that you take, whether it be traditional, conventional, whether it be herbs, cream, this is the same. You talk to your doctor first, right? You have to always talk to your doctor to get approval of whatever you're going to try. This is no different. So everything is trial and error, and there is no medication for erythromelalgia. So in my opinion, everything should be looked at, everything should be read about, everything should be talked about with your doctor, and if agreed, everything should be tried, because you just never know when that one thing is going to help you. So if you have open sores or ulcers on your feet or your extremities, probably soaking them in warm water would not be a good idea, because the bacteria from your feet will be in that water and your open wounds will be exposed to the bacteria. If you have numbness and loss of feeling in your extremities, that's something else that you need to be aware of and talk to your doctor about. How can you do the protocol to make sure that you're not going to burn yourself? To take the simple precautions that you take in other areas of your life because of the numbness. So it is very important that you do talk to your doctor first, explain to him the protocol, pass the video along to your doctor. Passing the video along to your doctor may result in someone wanting to do a study on this, because without a study being done on the protocol, we don't know. Why does it help some of us? Why doesn't it help all of us? Have we all done it the same? Did everybody take away all the cooling products? Did we all do it for the same amount of time when trying it? How warm was the water? Why do you have erythromelalgia? All these things matter. And so we don't have the answers as to will it help you? Definitely. Our hope is that yes, it will help you, and at the least it will give you some improvement. Because you know that with erythromelalgia, any improvement, even if it's small, is such a huge success when you're suffering so bad and your life has changed tremendously. So I hope that this video is very informative to you, very helpful, and that it helps a lot of people around the world, because it will make all of us so happy, and it does make us happy every time we read success stories. So good luck, and I hope you enjoy the video.
My name's Bob Bartholomew, and I had erythromelalgia for about 14 to 18 months. And as you probably know at this point, erythromelalgia is when your body overreacts to heat. So heat that would not really affect a normal person, in somebody with erythromelalgia would cause major problems. So for example, what would happen with me, and I had it in my hands and feet, if my hands and feet were exposed to warm ambient temperatures or warm water, or the heat that's produced through exercise or walking, my extremities would heat up, they would become engorged with blood, they would swell, there would be pain. It really puts a crimp in your lifestyle. You're constantly retreating from heat when you have erythromelalgia. And I tried, what a lot of people do when they discover that they've developed this condition. They avoid heat. I mean, that makes sense. Now, I was 37 or 38 when I first discovered that I had erythromelalgia, and I was in perfect health, and I still am. I don't have any other conditions that I know of, and I've been tested. I'm in great shape. My blood works. The envy of my doctor. He said he'd trade places with me in an instant. So I that was the only condition that I had, so that was good news for me, I guess. which made it difficult for me to deal with because I was doing everything right. I was exercising, I was eating a whole foods, all natural, organic diet. I was doing everything right. Here I was suddenly overreacting to heat. But the point of telling you that is to let you know that I didn't have any other conditions that were causing my erythromelalgia or attending my erythromelalgia, at least not that I know of. So I was avoiding heat. I had my apartment at 69 degrees in summer. I live in Las Vegas, so it's hard to pull that off, but I managed to run the air all the time, keep it at 69 degrees, ran the air full blast on my feet in the car when I was driving, took cold showers, which is the height of misery, had to soak my feet in cold water before bed. I was either avoiding heat and at the same time pursuing cold air or cold water, because any sort of heat was causing my system to go haywire. About 14 or 15 months into having erythromelalgia and trying, to avoid heat, I finally got desperate and started doing some research, and I saw something in an academic journal article about nerve desensitization, where you can desensitize the nerves by basically inundating them with a certain stimulus. So for erythromelalgia, in order to desensitize your nerves to heat, you would inundate them with heat over a period of time, which would cause them to sort of reset and not thereafter overreact to just sort of normal everyday heat that you would come in contact with through exercise or going outdoors in summer, that sort of thing. So what I did was and I was kind of worried. I was like, is this going to make it worse? Is it going to be hard to recover from? How painful is it going to be? Because, for a year I'd been avoiding any sort of heat. But one day I just threw 98-degree water in mop buckets and I put my feet in there. It was in the evening, and I probably was in there 15 or 20 minutes. And then I took a hot shower afterwards, and it was bad. I mean, it was not comfortable at all. I was flaring like out of my mind. But then I got in bed, I lied in bed, and I forced my body to recover. I didn't turn the air conditioner on. I didn't use cold water. I didn't use fans. I just lied there on top of the covers and waited. And eventually, as I knew it would, my body recovered. And it was practically morning before it recovered. I mean, it took the whole night. But the next day, I noticed an immediate improvement. Now, I didn't divest myself of erythromelalgia in one night, but I could see the next day, and it wasn't just psychological. I was clearly made a difference. I was, walking a lot more and a lot further the next day without having flares, where my body was, gorging my extremities with, blood and pain and all of this stuff. And so I'm like, wow, that actually worked. And so I just kept doing it. And, gradually over time, I increased the length of the soaks from 15 minutes to 30 minutes over a period of a couple of months. I gradually increased the temperature from in the high 90s to in the 100s, and then eventually to about 112. And I just kind of paced myself and made adjustments as I felt they were necessary to continue to stimulate, repair, to continue to challenge my body to become more desensitized to heat. So basically, the hot water soaks evolved into 30 minutes, 112 degree water. And like I said, it took some months to get there, but I got there. And, and gradually over months and months and months, it became easier to do the soaks. I recovered faster after doing the soaks. My day-to-day living was becoming less and less plagued by erythromelalgia flares. And it was a pain to do the soaks every night. It was a pain to lie there waiting for the recovery, but it was easy in a sense because I saw it working, and so I was getting positive reinforcement from the benefits. So I was just able to stick with it, and I did it every single day. I never skipped a day, and I continued my clean living. I ate right, I exercised, I did everything perfectly, to be honest with you. And the recovery just continued to happen. And after many, many months, I got to a point where there's no flares. I can go out now and take a walk for 30 minutes in 110 degree heat, and I won't be any more miserable than the average person that takes a walk in 112 degree heat or whatever. And that's how it is in Las Vegas in the summer. Now I did, after a month or so of doing the hot water treatment, I did introduce daily 30-minute walks in the summer heat with, tennis shoes and socks. And because I was thinking, well, that'll be just extra, an extra way to desensitize my nerves to heat. So I've got the water, but now this is ambient temperature plus the friction of walking, outside for 30 minutes. I probably could have had the same recovery if I hadn't done that, but I'm kind of a more is more guy sometimes, so I was like, well, why not? And it's good exercise to walk, so the walk was part of my what I did to relieve myself of the symptoms. And I, like I said, it's when I first started walking, yeah, it caused me to flare, but I continued to walk, day in and day out. I continued to do the hot water treatments, and every day and every week, I noticed a significant, noticeable difference in the number of flares I had during the day, the intensity of those flares, and I also noticed that my recovery from any flares that I did have was quicker. And I'm symptom-free now. And I continue to do the soaks. I'll admit, I don't know if I need to continue to do them. Maybe if I stopped, it would come back. Or maybe I'm fully recovered and it wouldn't come back. In full disclosure, I will probably try to stop doing the soaks to see what happens, and I can always resume doing it. But I'm kind of, in a way, married to the soaking because it's my time to sort of, read a book and check my email, and it's become such a part of my ritual that it's not even, unpleasant anymore, and it doesn't bother me to put my feet in hot water. So it's actually quite soothing. It's, the same experience you would have at a spa, I guess. But, I offer this up, I'm not a physician. I'm not offering this up as a cure. I'm not offering it up as a treatment. I'm only saying one thing. I'm saying that I had erythromelalgia. This is what I did. And this is the effect that what I did had on me. I don't know if it's going to work for you. I don't know if it's safe. It was safe for me. It doesn't mean it'll be safe for you. I don't know if it'll be safe for you. I don't know if you should try it. I don't know anything. A lot of people have other conditions that are attending their erythromelalgia. I did not. And so I had less to worry about and consider, so I could kind of just throw myself into it. As with all things, I would suggest if you're going to try this, talk to your doctor first, at least so that they know what's going on. Even if you decide to do it anyway, if they tell you not to, at least they know what you're doing. But I can't vouch for the safety of it. I can't vouch for the efficacy of it in other people. I know it worked for me. So I'm not here, telling you that this is a cure or that it's going to work. I just am doing what everybody in the group does. I'm saying, hey, I tried this new thing. This is what happened. If people try this and they experience relief from symptoms, then I am happy if that's the outcome. And if they decide not to try it, maybe that's the right decision for them. I don't make decisions for other people, just sharing my own personal story. A lot of people call this Bob's protocol, and I've always kind of resisted that. It's just, I'm some guy that had erythromelalgia, that put his feet in warm water, did it diligently, and ate right and exercised, did everything I was supposed to do, and, I'm either in remission or cured. I'm not sure which. I guess I would have to stop doing the soaks and see if it came back to know if it was an actual cure, but I'm certainly symptom-free. So yeah, if you try it, I hope it works for you. But that's the full flower of my story.
Hi, my name is Cynthia Kibler. I live in Clinton, Massachusetts. My EM is most likely primary, but could be secondary to small fiber neuropathy. My EM is limited to my feet, and I would consider my case to be fairly mild to moderate, especially compared to some of the severe cases I've seen in the Facebook group. I flare whenever I am exposed to very warm temperatures outside, meaning anything over high 70s, or if I exert myself in any way. Anything from doing housework in the house to going for a walk outside. I started the protocol in January. I have started just soaking my feet in very warm water to slightly hot, and in the beginning it was extremely intense. It would feel like my feet were really on fire, and it would take a full hour for the flare to calm down. Since then I have reduced the amount of time that I do the protocol, and the temperature does not need to be as hot, and I've experienced improvements in so many ways. I don't flare as severely, and they don't last nearly as long, and they can cool off my feet can cool off on their own. I use no forms of cooling, icing of any kind. It's been a total success for me, and I highly encourage everyone to try it if you haven't tried it already. Good luck.
Hi, my name is Tracy, and I live in Tennessee, and I have had erythromelalgia, which I will refer to as EM from here on out because it's easier to say. I've had it for about 20 years. It started out very mild. It started out just with some tingly feelings in my fingers and in my feet, and then it would turn to more like a stinging kind of sensation after a few years, and a few years after that they would start feeling warm, and pretty much went along that way until the last 6 years or so, until it got, I would say, moderate to severe, where the burning would begin. And at first it was just when I was in a hot situation. If it was too much heat, a summer day, they would start doing that. And then I would notice that the burning would start after I had been on my feet for a while, whether I was standing or walking. So over time it got progressively worse. I would have flares crop up for seemingly no reason at all. I would have them multiple times, day and night. Anyway, I finally got my nerve up, and I told my husband, hey, I know this sounds crazy, but I'm going to try this, because what have I got to lose? I mean, my life was so miserable at that point. And so I decided I would try it, and I decided I would use a thermometer to keep track of how hot my water was, so that I would know, if I was on the right track. So I started out with a water temperature of around 95 degrees. I have to admit, at the very beginning, it's kind of rough at the very beginning. I did have a very hard time that first week, but I kept with it, and I kept doing it, and over the space of 3 or 4 months, I was able to gradually start increasing the water temperature. And now I don't really measure it anymore, but I did when I was still using the thermometer. I was able to get up to like 103, even 104 sometimes, and it gradually started helping me. I think the first thing I noticed was that I wasn't flaring quite as intensely. I wasn't having as many spontaneous flares. But again, what I felt and noticed was gradual, but even though it might have been just the smallest little thing, it really encouraged me to keep going. And I've been doing it now for almost a year and a half. Now, I did sort of hit several plateaus along the way, but after a little while of hitting that plateau, then I would continue to get better and better. But let me tell you, I mean, even after doing it for a month, I could tell enough difference where I could go out in the summer heat. I went to my local dollar store and I walked around in there for about 10 minutes. I walked back out to my car and got in the car, and I didn't have a flare. That would never have happened before I started soaking. And I was still having some flares and things then, you know, although they were a little bit improved. And I had decided right then and there that even if I had seen no more improvement from that point on, I would still do the soaking, because, you know, it wasn't, you know, this big miracle at that time, but it was enough of an improvement that it gave me hope. And so I kept with it, and after a year and a half, I am much, much better. My quality of life is much more improved. I do still have some flares if I'm on my feet for too long, but let me tell you, before that, I began soaking, I could barely be on my feet for 5 minutes, and here would come this gigantic flare, and I'd be in misery, and nothing would help it. I mean, it would be hours, it would be half a day or whatever that I would be flaring and just, you know, wishing that I wasn't alive. It was just terrible. But now I can be on my feet for up to 45 minutes or so before I start feeling that tingling. And when I feel the tingling, I know that it's time to get off my feet for a little while and give them a break, and I do. But even if I can't do that, or, you know, I do get a little bit of a flare going, now I can get off my feet, and I don't cool them at all. I discontinued every cooling method that I used from day one of starting the protocol. That's very important. Don't use those cooling methods anymore. But now they'll calm down. My feet will calm down, and that burn or the stinging, they'll calm down on their own now. And that never would have happened before I started doing the hot water soaking protocol. The heels of my feet had very deep, dry cracks in them before, and the hot water soaking protocol, of course, now I'll put lotion on my feet after I soak, but I was always putting lotion on my feet before I started this too, and it really didn't seem to help much. But it has helped the heels of my feet, the skin on my feet, to soften up. Those chilblains and those deep, dry cracks on my heels have totally gone away. If you're thinking about it, I would like to encourage you. It really doesn't hurt to try, and I'm not going to lie to you, it's a little bit rough at first, but if you do it and you stick with it and you keep doing it, you do it every single day, that's so important, then I think you'll have good results too. So we're here to back you up, and you know, we're here to answer any questions you might have, and I just want to encourage you. Good luck.
Hi, my name is Stacy Schlobaum, and this is my EM video. A little bit of background about how it got started. Back in 2012, I didn't really know what was wrong. My feet just started getting hot a little bit at night, and I didn't really think much about it. I would work during the day and come home, and they were warm at night. I started believing maybe it was thyroid, and I went to the doctors, and yes, I did have thyroid problems, and so I got treated for that and lost a bunch of weight, but the heat just kept progressing. In 2014, I began an iodine protocol for my thyroid that included high doses of niacin. So from 2012 to 2014, I managed it. 2014, I started the high doses of niacin for my thyroid, and overnight my life changed and I never recovered. Niacin is a vasodilator, I would learn later. I still didn't know I had EM, but any vasodilators make EM worse. So overnight I was sitting with my feet in buckets of cold water and in pure agony. And long story short, went to many doctors, finally diagnosed myself really with erythromelalgia. I asked my neurologist about it. She kind of ignored me the first time, and then after that I made her to read it the second time I went back, and she on my records put small fiber neuropathy, even though I didn't test for that, negative. She finally said, yeah, it sounds like you have that, but it doesn't matter. There's no cure, no treatment, and you're already on all the same drugs, which was gabapentin and tramadol. And I went through a list of drugs. None of them helped, even morphine and Opana ER and amitriptyline. And I mean, I just did them all, and none of them helped me. I went into a wheelchair for 3 years, basically. I sat in a chair, sedentary, for probably 3 years. Finally, in 2017, I found out about laser online, and there was a doctor practicing laser in Tampa, Florida that was using cold air while doing his laser, and that would help prevent me from flaring while I was getting the laser treatment, since laser is a vasodilator. So I happened to have relatives there, and I went and I stayed with my sister, and I went to this laser and got my feet done. And it was a very slow and difficult process, but it did help. I eventually got symptoms in my hands, and so I started laser, but laser's expensive. They charge by the amount of skin that they cover and how long. So I can only do a little bit, but I think the laser helped my hands more than my feet because I caught it so early. But I got off all the drugs, and I went through the withdrawal, and I got off all the drugs, and the laser did do pain management for me, which was worth something. And I began to sleep, so that was worth something. But it didn't get me up and walking and out of the wheelchair. About 2018, I think it was 2018, I began doing Bob's protocol, which is basically heat desensitization, where you soak your feet in hot water, and then when you come out of the hot water, the room air temperature feels cool compared to what it was before. So that began to work for me. It was excruciating when I first began it. It hurt. And it was bad. I mean, my husband was like, after the first week, we need to stop, because I basically cried the entire time and couldn't walk afterwards and was in tears. But right away, within days, we noticed that my color improved. So I kept doing it. I kept pushing on, and it got less painful as the days went on. An entire year later, after doing Bob's protocol, I'm up. I'm up and walking. I'm wearing boots. I'm wearing shoes. For 4 years, I never wore shoes. I couldn't wear anything. Even the air would hurt my feet. I now have my life back. I'm not cured. Hot water didn't cure me, but it sure helped me. I did develop Raynaud's in the process, which is why I can wear boots. And many of us have both Raynaud's and EM. But Bob's protocol has been life-saving, life-changing, life-altering for me. I'm no longer in a wheelchair, and I wear shoes, and I go out and I live life. So for now, that's what's working for me. And I encourage anybody that wants more information to look it up online. I have a Facebook group called Erythromelalgia Fight Fire with Fire, and I know Paula and many other people are doing it. Look it up, try it, talk it with your doctor, because it's been life-changing for me. Thank you, and God bless.
Hello, my name is Paula again, and I live in Massachusetts. I have erythromelalgia. I do not know the cause of my erythromelalgia. My medical conditions have not been able to be connected to erythromelalgia. My EM was very severe for about a year and a half. I had a 24/7 flare. I was elevating up in a chair with feet above hot level all day long and at night. I wasn't able to drive. I wasn't able to go anywhere. I wasn't able to stand. My flares were triggered by everything. It was pretty bad. And so I tried this Bob's protocol. It took me a very long time to try it, months. I was reading stories and following them and talking to people, and I joined a Facebook private group, and I had a lot of encouragement on there to try the protocol. And so I finally set aside a week, and I told my family, don't count on me for anything. I just assume this is going to be horrible. I'm not going to sleep. I'm going to be in severe, severe pain. So I took a week that mentally I was going to be able to give the protocol a full 7 days to see if any improvements. So what I started to do, I started to soak my feet and my hands because I flare in both. My hands, I have not seen improvement with, so I stopped soaking them. My feet, I definitely saw improvements with. It was very difficult. When I first soaked, I put very lukewarm water in a bucket. I sit in a chair in the tub and I put my feet in the bucket. I continuously refresh the water to make sure that it stays the same temperature. I never did test the water with a thermometer. I just did it to my comfort, very lukewarm water at first, 20 minutes a day, followed by a hot shower, something that I stopped doing. I was unable to do. So I did this, and the first 3 days, I have to say 3 to 4 days was the worst. I had a lot of pins and needles in my feet. They were very painful, very bad. The flare was, very red, very burning, very bad, as I knew it would be. I was very uncomfortable to begin with, so it was more uncomfortable but bearable. I kept telling myself, if I can get through the 7 days, at least I know I gave this a shot. And what do I have to lose? Just worsening symptoms for a week maybe? But what do I have to gain? I had a lot to gain. So I tried it. And after the 4th day, I'd say the first 4 days, I cheated very little with a fan at night. Very little, 45 minutes, desperately needed it. And I put it far away from me. Other than that, I used no cooling products. It was torture for me because I was using the fan nonstop and cool packs. So by the 5th day, everything got easier. The water soak, I was able to do it better. I was able to do it more comfortably. It wasn't as painful. The pins and needles got better. So I continued to soak every single day, 20 minutes a day, follow it up by a shower, a nice hot shower. And I've been doing that. This Christmas of 2018 made 1 whole year because I started right before Christmas time in 2017. So I immediately saw improvements after the first week. They were small improvements, but it was easy to get in the warm water. It was easier to stand. I wasn't elevating anymore. So what I did was I just sat in a recliner. I tried not to elevate those feet above heart level. I do believe that that was making things worse. So I did all these things and improvements happened. Fast forward to today, I take a hot shower now, a steaming hot shower. I use that as part of my therapy. I soak for 20 minutes a day with my feet. I alternate. Sometimes I soak my hands, sometimes not. And it has made me mobile. I'm able to drive. I wear a larger size boot when I drive, and I have no air conditioner on in the wintertime, which I had to before, or the window down. So more than likely I can get from point A to point B if it's a 30-minute drive, and maybe still wear my boots if the car is at a decent temperature. I wasn't able to do that before. I was driving barefoot. I now wear flip-flops. I wasn't able to wear any shoe wear before. I now sit in a recliner. I wasn't able to sit in a recliner. I had to elevate above heart level. I now can go grocery shopping. I now can walk around in stores. Before, immediately, within 2 minutes of inside of the store, major flare, major pain, couldn't stand, had to run to the car and run out, many times leaving my items in the store. So I'm now able to go to the store and do a little bit of shopping. Have my flares stopped completely? Absolutely not for me. I was flaring with everything, whether what I drank, what I ate. Every time I ate, I flared. No matter what I did, I flared. I don't flare like that anymore. I can eat now and not flare, other than certain foods that cause the flare. So I'm more comfortable during the day sitting in a normal position. I'm able to get up and walk around and do some things before the flare starts. Usually after 3 o'clock, the flare will come. I'll feel the burning feet. I'll have discomfort. It's just nothing like before. And when you go from being so severe to where I am now, it's great. If someone who didn't have EM stepped into my body today where I am, it would be horrible for them. So when you're severe, as I said at the beginning of the video, even if you have small improvements, it makes the biggest difference. I had more than small improvements. I think these are moderate improvements. I take no medication. I have allergies or reactions to every medication. Nothing has helped me. Everything is toxic. So this water treatment is just, it gave me some of my life back. And so I hope that you give it a shot, talk to your doctor, and that you have the same results. And if you do try this protocol, I would absolutely love to hear from you. If you want to see my flares, how bad they were, search on Facebook, Paula with erythromelalgia, look in my photos, and you will see exactly how bad my flares were. And now I have normal color unless I'm in a flare. So I want you to take a look at those pictures so that you can just get some insight of where my improvements came and what they look like. And there's other information on my webpage as well that you might find helpful. I also want to talk to you about a Facebook page. And so there is a Facebook page that if you have erythromelalgia that you can join. It's a private forum. So you can search erythromelalgia, fight fire with fire. And Stacy, who was the biggest encourager for me to be able to try the protocol and was very helpful in answering questions and giving her story, as was everyone else on that group, just very helpful, trying to help you along to get through the protocol to see if it's going to help you. So it's very important. Search that Facebook group, join it, start talking to people, send this video to your doctor to look at, have your doctor let you know if you can try it. And we're going to be crossing our fingers for you, hoping that this brings you some improvement. Again, thank you so much for watching. And if you have any questions, you can certainly look me up on the internet, Paula with erythromelalgia. You can shoot me an email, Paula with em@gmail.com. I'd be happy to direct you into the right direction of the protocol, answer any of your questions, help you along. So any questions, just reach out to any of us. We'd be happy to help you. We want you to get some of your life back because we are so happy that we were able to get some of our life back.